everybody. My name is Sandra. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I want to discuss my planner lineup for 2023. This video is a little late. I know most of the time I try to get these videos done the first week of January, if earlier. But considering that I had a baby December 30th and things have been crazy, I feel like I'm not doing too bad here. So what I wanted to do is share with you all of the planners and things that I'm using to kind of set myself up for success for the new year. And I like to do one of these videos every single year. And I think last year I was in my Franklin Covey, but I'm basically going to include everything, even my journal here. And I just want to tell you guys like what I write about and what processes I use, I guess, to an extent. But for the detailed planner views, I will leave links or I will direct you to another website or something. So anyway, so I want to start with my Cultivate What Matters goal planner. So this is kind of where all of my planning starts from. So I start with my goals, and I specifically like this planner because it's so straightforward. There is a lot of prep work at the beginning. If you have used this goal planner in like yourself, you might know, the prep work at the beginning is, it's a little time consuming. So it took me probably about 4 or 5 hours to complete the entire thing. But in my opinion, it's worth it because while Franklin Covey has rules and values associated with their goal planning system, this kind of dives a little bit deeper rather than just going into your value system. You really have to think long and hard about some of the questions, but then it really helps you to get thinking and to start brainstorming about what you want to do with yourself and your life in the upcoming year. So again, I don't think I have like a flip through. I might have done an original flip through of when it first launched. Maybe I'll launch that video, but there's also a playlist I can add that kind of talks about all the prep work, and that if you are curious, you can kind of look at that and see what it's all about. I do have my January video complete as well. So maybe what I'll do is if I have enough room down below, I'll just leave like a link to all of those videos for this particular book. But yeah, this is kind of where everything starts from. So I always dive into this first thing in the morning. It's my first kind of starting point for my planner routine every day. And then of course I look at it when I kind of come back to do my goals every month. So I do my goals at the end of each month for the new month. And this is actually the bluebird color. I think they ran out of stock of these right away. But yeah, I adore this plant. I've been using this for 3 or 4 years now. So absolutely necessary. And by the way, you guys, I did not plan for everything to be blue or greenish color here. I did not plan for that. It's so funny because technically my favorite color is purple. But these colors are beautiful altogether. I can't believe that it kind of worked out that way. So, which is funny. Okay. So now, like I said, that's kind of the starting point, and that's kind of all encompassing. So I have my work, I have my home in that. I'm kind of talking about all of my goals for every single aspect of my life. And then I think what we'll do is go into my budget book. So I just want to say that a couple of things here actually is that some people like to have their budget in their main planner. And well, at one point I was doing that. I found the Budget Mom, Kamiko Love, on YouTube, and I found her planner, and I am in love with her system. So unfortunately, the only reason I'm using discs is because this year the Budget Mom decided not to sell printed versions of her budget book. So you have to print them from home or from Staples or whatever. But you have to buy a PDF version and then print it yourself or get it paid to be printed and then bind it yourself. So that's the only reason I'm using discs. I have used discs in the past for previous planner systems, specifically Happy Planner, and I don't love discs. I like that they're easy for papers to come in and out of. That's why I like the Happy Planner system. But I feel like it's just not... and please don't throw hate at me for this. I feel like it's not as elegant as a binder. That's my opinion, personal opinion. And it's just the way I like to plan. And also because I have such a big book, these are on extended discs, like the large ones, and the pages don't turn very well. So you can kind of like, when you're bending over the pages, it just doesn't flip as nice as like regular size discs. But I feel like I had to because this book was just so big. The thing I like about this is that we get paid weekly, and it includes like weekly budget by paycheck pages. So there's 5 of them every month, and it's just so convenient for me. And I feel like I've got so far more ahead than in the past using this specific system than I have any other system. And it keeps things straightforward, it keeps it organized, and I love it so much. So that is something that I look at every day if I'm tracking expenses. I pretty much have like a budget routine. And I look at it every week when I go to do my budget on the Wednesday. I pay my bills on Thursday, and then I do a review every month, and then I try to do a review every year. So my first review was actually this year for 2022, and that video you'll see, probably it should be up before this video. So I'm constantly in this book, and although it's not travel size, you can get smaller pamphlets per month from the Budget Mom. They're like smaller, like travel size notebooks that you can put in your regular planner. And if you don't like that, you can just simply print the pages down to size and put them in your planner as well if you wanted to. So yeah, I really, this is like, it's been invaluable. I've been using it for 2 years now, and it's just amazing. The system is so good. And, you know, some people might say like, oh no, $27 to print your own, or however much it is, like it works out to be, I don't know, $50, $60 to buy one. I would say that's money well worth spending if it's going to help you in your budget. And that one I will have, I think I've got 2 videos for that. So I've got the one where I set up the binder or the planner, and then I also have the one where I was filling out the sheets. So if I have a playlist for that, I'll link that as well. Okay, so next I want to talk about my actual like main planning system. So I use the Franklin Covey Classic binder. I do have compact size binders. I have tried using them in the past for my everyday carry, but I find that they're just too small. The largest ring size you can get in a compact is 1.25, which is in the Auroras. And I use a 1.5, and I'm almost like, it's completely full. I could almost go for a 2-inch, but I don't want to ruin my binders. So this specific binder is the Canyon Leather Binder in Periwinkle. I love it. I love this binder. And so one of my regrets is that technically, like, when I go into a really nice binder that I'm absolutely loving, I could technically stay in that binder for longer than just 1 month. I feel like I'm not giving myself the full opportunity to like love my binder. But because I have so many Franklin binders and I love change, I love this system of Franklin Covey, so I don't want to change out that. I just like to change the colors. I like to change the decor. I like all of that. So I usually change my binders out once a month. This year's probably going to be no exception because this year, I'm so excited. The vintage Auroras should be coming out sometime later on this year. I think they came out in August or September last time. I'm not sure. Apparently they come out every 2 years, and we're due for a new lineup this year. So I'm so excited for that. But I do have the current binders that I have. I have some ideas of which ones I'll be using for the upcoming months, and I'm already working on some decor ideas for that. So yeah, so I'm super excited. So a couple of things about this binder. I still use the Franklin Planner inserts. My very first inserts that I've ever purchased were the Blooms inserts, and those are like the very pink and white floral inserts. And I also have purchased the Seasons inserts. I think those were I want to say my second. I'm trying to think what else I purchased. I know I purchased some blank ones that were just like plain. I prefer the day on 2 page, so I like to plan daily on those because it gives you room for notes. And this year, I still have some of the Seasons left that will go until until June, I believe. I also repurchased Blooms for this year for 2023, and I also have the 7 Habits. So that's currently what I have in my binder right now. I'll show you what they look like. This is what they look like for January anyway. And if you see what I mean here, so you have room for your tasks, you've got room for your appointments, and then a whole page of notes. And you can get them more compact, so you can get a day on one page, or you can do weekly. Some people prefer doing that instead. I also have weekly because I like to see my week at a glance. I use the Teresa Collins weeklies. I'll show you what that looks like. Just like this. This is like very plain Jane for me. I usually decorate. I don't really have an uber decorated spread in here. Just this is the last one I have. But I usually decorate. It's just because I had my baby and I kind of ran out of time. I decided to just write everything out. But I do like changing up my inserts. And so I do know there's options available from Etsy. I know you can go to different websites like Agendio and customize your own inserts. But again, because I get bored, because I like to change up my binders and change the colors, I want to be able to have that flexibility to change my inserts as well. And I still really love the Franklin Planner inserts. This is probably one of my favorites, although the color scheme probably isn't my favorite. If it was black on top, it might be all right. But yeah, again, I changed my binder, so I probably wouldn't use these particular inserts in the binder I'm going to use for February. But I mean, who knows? The other thing is I Frankenplan. So this is a Franklin planning system, but it's called Franken planning. I used to only refer to that when I was in my happy planner, because I would buy like 7 happy planners. I know, crazy. And I would take out a month of each section, and I would use each of those months for a different life category. So one would be my son's school, one would be home life, one would be like chores and cleaning, one would be, list making. So I would have all of these different sections, but technically when you have a binder and you have dividers, you can make your own sections and you can be whatever you want. And you can customize. So in a lot of cases, like for instance, I go to my son's school, I purchased these, I'm trying to remember where, I think they were Rory Designs, but I found this plain dashboard layout meant for half letter. So Franklin Covey Classic is half letter size, which is super easy because like US page like letter is one whole page, 8.5 by 11. Half letter is exactly half of a page, and it's so convenient because you can print your inserts at home and you simply cut the page in half, and it works out amazing. So these are printed. I print on HP 32 paper, which is 32-pound paper. It's nice and thick. It's also really smooth and nice to write on. I also round my corners to kind of go with the Franklin Planner system, because the Franklin inserts have that as well. They're on the inside, the corners are rounded, and the outside, the corners are pointy. And I kind of do the same thing. The other thing is, some of my planner aspects, like some of my categories, are found in some planners, and then they kind of carry over to other planners. So the next couple planners I'll explain to you, you'll understand what I mean. So in here, I have all of my important things. I've got my goals, I've got my schedule, I've got everything to do with home, which would be like meals, chores, budgeting, school, reading, personal section, routines, projects, and then I've got a whole section on business. So when I say finance, all I technically have in here are my sinking funds, because I like to keep track of it in my planner. I like to be able to look at it all the time to see how much money I have in my categories. But that information is also in my budget book. So like you'll see, there's a few things I like to carry over in this planner. So let's call this my catch-all planner, because ideally it's pretty much the planner I reference every single day. And I'm in this every day, all day. Like I have it open on my desk beside me. As soon as I need to reference something or go work in a section, I move to that section and I work in it or I reference it. So to me, like this planner is invaluable. And I have almost all of my inserts meant for half letter, and I have a lot of different binder options. So for me, this is the best size to work with because it offers the most room, and it might not be the most portable, but it is still smaller than like, a Monarch size or an 8.5 by 11, like Happy Planner big size. So for me, this size is perfect. But yeah, I do have lots of things in here, but there's lots of room to carry things around. And it's just been a joy to work in my planner. Like, I love it. So anyway, I will post, I've got 2 videos on this as well. So I've got the initial setup, and then I have a full complete walkthrough tour where I talk about where I got all of my inserts and all of my dividers and stuff. So I will link those videos for you as well. Okay, so moving on, we'll talk about my business stuff here. So now, I was really debating this year on what I was going to do for business. So originally I was like, well, I have all of these Franklin binders. I want to have my business section in my Franklin binder, which technically I do. I'll just kind of go back to that for a sec to show you what I have. So I have a top tab labeled business here, and I have this little dashboard from Heather Beco. And then I have all of my side tabs. So I've got my schedule for my business. I'll show you what that looks like. I'm using Fancy Plans Co. for my schedule. So it offers a monthly layout as well as a weekly layout. But I also have my stats in there. So I track my numbers for my YouTube, my blog, my website, all kinds of things. I have an overview. I track my I track all sorts of things like my analytics, and then I have one for income. So I track monthly income, income from all my affiliate programs, my Etsy shop, my website, YouTube, everything. I have a yearly overview for that as well. And then I have a brainstorm section, technically nothing in there, but that's for sticker ideas or for blog ideas or video ideas for that matter. Then I have my blog section, which talks about all of my blog information. So all of my schedule for my blog creator posts, so I can brainstorm on what I want my posts to look like and my blogs to look like. And then I have a notes section, and that's strictly for business. So again, this is like a catch-all planner because this is a planner that comes with me everywhere. So if I'm out, if I've traveled somewhere, I need this planner to be with me at all times. And then all of this stuff is referenced. So where I get that information from, I will go back to that and I will show you. Now, originally, I had done my business schedule on my iPad. So I just want to go to an app first of all, and I will talk about where I got this from. So if you guys have heard of a YouTuber called Claudia Joseph, she posted a video that she will no longer be making YouTube videos, but I'm pretty sure she's keeping up her past content. I'm pretty sure. So she started making digital planners. Now, while I don't like the color scheme of this particular planner, I am loving like the portability of my iPad and just that it's so functional. So this is actually called the content. It's for content creators, like specifically. And there's YouTube, Instagram, collabs, products, expenses, website, and other. And then you also have like a monthly calendar. So this was for December. You've got the monthly calendar, goals, video list, collabs. And then you have weeks. And when you first start out, you only have like 1 week, 1 day, etc., and 1 notes page, but you can copy and paste because it's digital, right? So you don't need to have all that extra stuff. And the thing I like about it is that you can easily erase it and you can rewrite it. And it's not like you have it written on paper or whatever. So I was using this so like every day, like every Sunday I would sit down and plan this out. And I loved writing on my iPad with my Apple Pencil. It was just so satisfying because I have a paper-like screen protector, so it just sounds so satisfying. And while I still will continue using this, right now, I currently transitioned from my iPad and from that planner from Claudia Joseph to my cloth and paper coiled notebook. So I got this in a subscription box from 2022. And the year before, I actually ended up giving mine away. And so this year I wanted to try using it. So what I did this year is I started using this in lieu of my iPad. So there might be times when I'll use this instead. I find like the difference, especially if you guys understand like like the feeling, like if you've tried both, if you've tried paper planning and then you've tried digital planning, there's a completely different feeling. And I consider myself a paper planner. Like I would never ever go all digital. I wouldn't be able to. It's just not me. Because I love my Franklin planner too much. But there's something about writing with pen on paper, and I don't know what it is. Like it's just a feeling you get when you're writing, right? And even though sometimes I make mistakes, I have to use whiteout, I cross stuff out. It's just satisfying because you can look back. Technically on here, I could probably make copies of everything like on my iPad, but I ended up just going back to January and erasing the whole thing and then starting 2023 fresh. So I can't necessarily look back and say, okay, yeah, this is what I did last January because it's all gone. So in this case, I would technically have that because you don't go back and erase it. And also if I'm out and I forget either one, like say I forget this, but I have this, I can use this to plan for my business. And then if I have this at home, sometimes I'll just use this and it's easier to just pick it up and look at it. But again, these are completely interchangeable and I don't really prefer one over the other. I just wanted a little break from my iPad for like this month and maybe I'll go back to my iPad for February. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, the layout in here is really, really nice. I liked the layout I think it was 1 year, not 2022, it was the year before, where Cloth and Paper had this layout for their inserts every month. And I really liked them. It just was hard for me because they had already dated them. And because I was already using my Franklin planner, I felt like the inserts were going to waste. So if they'd had an undated version, that might have been better because then you wouldn't have any waste. Like if I decided to transition to my iPad, a whole month of this wouldn't be used. So, but yeah, for now I'm really enjoying it. So I currently have my week. I usually do a rough draft. I call this like my rough draft, and then I copy it over to my Franklin planner, and that's kind of where I reference it every day. So this is where I work out all of the kinks, I guess you'd call it. So if I go to the monthly calendar, this is like for goals, for business goals, even though I've got goals in my Cultivate What Matters. I've got goals at the beginning of my Franklin planner, but I like to just reiterate them here because I'm huge on goals and reiteration is key in order to get your stuff done and to remember it. But this is kind of like my rough draft. So if something doesn't work out here, I'll either cross it out, I'll white it out, and then I'll kind of go from there. So again, not really any brainstorming happens in here. That's all in my Franklin, but kind of like a quick glance so that I can kind of see what's going on for the week. If I don't want to open my Franklin binder, or if I'm in another room or something, I can quickly grab this and just open it to the right page, and there you go. Okay, so those are the last kind of planners. And then the last thing I want to discuss is my journal. I currently transitioned from this journal. I just finished this one for the end of December, and I moved into this one. So this one was a Molly and Rex journal from Indigo, and I really liked it because the pages were like different colors on them. I actually just posted a blog. I'll see if I can link that as well, a blog about journaling and the kinds of things I write in my journals. But I do have some blogs on different types of journals, like my favorite journals. And Peter Popper Press are probably some of my favorite. They're very vibrant and beautiful, and there's lots of variety in the types of journals he offers. Sometimes the paper quality is really nice, but sometimes it's like almost too thick for my liking. I like paper that looks written on, if that makes sense. And this stuff is almost like too stiff. It's almost like too thick, if you know what I mean. So again, it depends. Some people like to journal in their planner and they'll keep an entire planner just for journaling. Some people like a notebook. And I've been an avid journaler ever since I was able to write, basically. And I usually journal once a day, every day. And I've been trying to get into the habit of doing it once in the morning and once at night. So the morning kind of sets my intentions for the day, kind of defines my goals for the day, or talks about my goals for the week. Just kind of like thoughts on that, or if I've got certain emotions I want to work through. And then the evening would pretty much be a reflection of my day. And I don't really label it as such. I don't label it intentions or focus or, reflection. I just kind of talk. I just free flow. I just write down whatever I'm feeling in that moment. If something bad happened, I talk about how it made me feel and what it was and how I reacted and how I could have maybe done something better. And yeah, journaling to me is invaluable. It's like the biggest tool in my toolkit that probably I've definitely been doing that the longest, but it's just been so helpful. And I don't think I could live without a journal. Seriously, I don't think I could. So this is probably like the 100th or 200th journal I've gone through. I have a whole huge Rubbermaid, like the large ones. I don't even know how many, like 64 liters. It is almost full of stacked journals. And I was thinking potentially, like, if I were to ever write a book, to do kind of like a memoir or something and to put snippets of my journal entries in there. I don't know, it's just something I was thinking about. So it'd be kind of neat, but it would be a lot of work because I have a lot of journals. But yeah, so I just wanted to say that. And usually what I look for when I go to get a journal is, like, say I'm in a bookstore, or it's funny because you come across the most random stores. Like one time I went into EB Games and they had this Hogwarts journal, and it was Ravenclaw, which is what I would be if I was like, in that. And it was so funny. It was a Harry Potter journal, and it just struck me, and I had to have it because it was like so unique and interesting. But a lot of times when I look for a journal, I love journals that are different. And sometimes they'll have like silver or gold edging, which make it look really pretty, or it'll have gold foiling on the front or silver foil. And yeah, some of the Peter Popper Press ones are just beautiful. But I have quite a few from Amazon or from various stores that you wouldn't find anywhere else necessarily, and they're just beautiful as well. So anyway, that is my official planner lineup for 2023. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little talk through and visual of my planners. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you're new here, please subscribe, click on that bell button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, friends.